Hey, welcome back. So we got a news of the day video, your second of the day, as a result of lots of stuff being out there and some changes that have happened since this morning's. Would have had it done sooner, but I got to do my treadmill, which means I'm catching up on Falcon and Winter Soldier. You've got to stay up on that because you avoid spoilers online, and then watch it the next day. That's what I do, anyways. I consider it the next day because with WandaVision, I was staying up till midnight to watch it. Not with this one. This one I can wait till the next day. So, and also, of course, the first period between Calgary and Montreal just ended, so I couldn't exactly do a video while I was watching that. Decent game so far. Spoiler alert. So, the Colorado Avalanche, I guess we kind of saw this coming. It's the third positive we've seen from this team, and they've decided, you know what, well, I'll just shut her down. Donskoy was added to the protocol list today, so he's the third. After Byram and Grubauer, so, it's not exactly an outbreak, so to speak, but they just want to get it in line. So the earliest they'll play is next Thursday. So that's 3 games that are postponed for them. And then Canuck news as well that the Leafs game that was to be played tomorrow will instead be played on Sunday. So they've pushed that back. To which I thought, so they're going to play 19 games in 30 days now? No, actually, they've rearranged some games for the Canucks. And now the latest game is May 19th in Calgary. So that's pushed the date back. We're 11 days out from where the season was originally supposed to end. And again, with what's going on with Colorado, you have to think that's going to expand their season as well. So all of this, well, what are the American teams going to do while the Canadian teams are finishing out their season? There's a chance that there may be more teams still playing out their season than we thought. The Oilers game that was scheduled for today is now scheduled for May 3rd. And yeah, they've moved some games around. And Pettersson, in and amongst all of this and not really being discussed, Pettersson, who hasn't played, for a while, and the Canucks have been down for about a month, he is nowhere near a return. The way they're phrasing it, he's gone and seen a specialist, and he's got no timeline for a return. So this is concerning for the Canucks that Elias Pettersson, who is, of course, looking for a new contract this summer, has missed this much time and is still nowhere near a return. I don't think this necessarily means his asking price is going to be a lot less, but the odds of it being a 2-year bridge deal just goes through the roof with this news. Like, it'll probably be a 2-year bridge deal, probably for not a ton of money, and the one that might be more challenging to sign is Quinn Hughes, of the two. So, there you go. Speaking of signings, the reason I'm wearing a Jets jersey, Adam Lowry has signed a 5-year extension with the Winnipeg Jets for $3.25 million per season. And, yeah, it's decent for what Lowry brings. It is. I saw comments like, how does this affect UFA? How does this affect the expansion? It doesn't. The whole idea that, well, don't worry about the expiring UFAs because we have an expansion draft, so just, Seattle won't touch them. Seattle has 72 hours to discuss an extension with any player that's not protected. So whether you sign them now or whether you sign them later, it really won't affect expansion that much unless you sign them to a ridiculous amount of money to make sure that Seattle doesn't take them. So, Pearson, right? No. Lowry, 5 years, $3.25 million. It's 40 chess, boys and girls. But yeah, it's a decent signing. It's nice to see him get rewarded. Next up's Andrew Kopp. You got to think Kopp's going to get more money. Probably get around the same amount of term. We'll see what Cheveldayoff does. William Nylander's back. He's officially off the protocol list now for Toronto, so he will be good to go Sunday against the Vancouver Canucks. And that's good news if you're a Toronto fan. You've got back your top 6 winger. Foligno's going to be joining the team pretty quick here too. This is going to be something when Toronto gets everybody together. And then the only question left is, are they going to be able to get everybody in sync, everything all figured out headed into the playoffs? It's always interesting when teams do add at the deadline, and then they struggle after that because then they've got players who might be playing on different lines, they might be playing with different line mates, they might be in a situation they're not familiar with, and it just doesn't quite work out. That does happen at the deadline where the team that's declared this is a winner, in the end we look back and go, wow, that actually buggered up all their chemistry. So we'll see, right? Fingers crossed on that one. Dylan Holloway has signed his entry-level contract. What's interesting with Holloway is he's listed as a center. But I'm thinking with Nugent Hopkins, should he return? Of course, Nugent Hopkins hasn't signed an extension yet either. So if he left, Holloway wouldn't be asked to just jump right into that role, but he is listed as a center. I'm figuring he ends up on the wing next year. I'm figuring that he ends up being moved to the wing next year, should they find a way to keep Nugent Hopkins. So we'll see. But with Nugent Hopkins, Draisaitl, with everybody else they've got, and that McDavid guy who's pretty good. He may be a star player at some point. Holloway may be asked to move to the wing, which again, as I've said, you can't have too many centers. You can't have too many wingers if you don't have enough centers, but you can't have too many centers. So, news for tonight's game and for Sunday's games. If you're a Vegas fan, it looks like Reeves and Kolasar likely will miss both. They didn't make the trip for tonight's game, and it looks like they're both going to be out for the next couple. So that does affect the bottom six, but that's why you go out and get Janmark. That's why you make deals at the deadline to try to make sure that you're covered for when guys go down. And the good news is Vegas always seems to have guys who can fill in and do pretty well. Yurcho's the most recent example. Yurcho's look pretty good for them. I've heard it pronounced Yurko here and there, but I'm 99% sure he pronounces it Yurcho. And I mean, since he came into the Vegas lineup, I'm hearing Yurko, and I'm like, I'm pretty sure it's Yurcho, because it sounded weird when it was pronounced that way when he was in Edmonton, right? So yeah, Reeves and Kolasar are out. If you're a Wings fan, good news for you as well. Raymond has signed his entry-level contract with the Detroit Red Wings. And yeah, so we'll see next year what Raymond does for them, what Holloway does for the Oilers. In terms of entry-level contracts, I try to cover the first-rounders and with the later draft picks and the middling picks, because otherwise you can just fill up boards on certain days with just a bunch of players who may never play, who, you know, may not be projected as stars. And Raymond and Holloway are seen as future top six. In Raymond's case, he's seen as a future star for the Detroit Red Wings. And he comes over, Seider comes over next season. Things could get really serious for Detroit very, very quickly. Linus Ullmark is listed as week to week, so they came out with the news that he's week to week. So again, as I always say, when it's week to week, I assume minimum 2 weeks. If it's less than that, they'll say 7 to 10 days, right? So Ullmark's at least 2 weeks. And from Hutton's status, it sounds like it's going to be a day-to-day kind of thing, like he's skating. They're not really saying a whole lot about when he's going to come back. So if you're Dustin Tokarski, you might be the starter for a little while here. And if you're Michael Hauser, who knows? Maybe you get a start. For Buffalo, they're nowhere near the playoffs. You might as well see what you've got with these guys, right? So, yeah, Ullmark week to week, Hutton day to day. And if you're Buffalo, you're looking forward to next year anyways. If you're a St. Louis fan, of course, there's always injury news with St. Louis. Always. Robert Thomas won't play tomorrow. He's day to day with what's seen as upper body injury. Craig Berube said they're hoping it's sooner rather than later he returns. With St. Louis, you can never tell. And when one guy comes back, another guy goes out. 2 guys come back, 2 guys go out. That's just been St. Louis's lot over the last couple of seasons. And hopefully that changes once we get set for the playoffs. So yeah, you guys are all caught up with what's gone on so far today, both the first and the second video form. And we'll see if there's more that comes out. We just have the 4 games tonight, so that review will be up. The preview for tomorrow will be up tonight as well. We have 11 games tomorrow. At least right now we have 11 games tomorrow. And we have a couple that are 9:30 in the morning my time, which is early if you're in Europe. So if you're in Europe and you're like, well, I wonder if there's any hockey to watch. Yeah, you got 2 games early, and then there's one that starts at, I think, noon. And yeah, it's hockey basically all day. And on Sunday, it's going to be kind of a busy day as well. I'll be here for both of those. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below regarding any of these items of the day. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe. If you're browsing your way through, you just happened upon this video. And hey, thank you guys so much for watching, for all your support. I'll talk to you again soon.